I stated in my hypothesis that at the start of exercise, heart rate will initially increase in comparison to rest. However, it will plateau at about 3 minutes into exercise and keep at a constant rate for the duration of the rest of the exercise. We collected the data by using an oximeter every minute on the participant's finger, then wrote the heart rate recordings down. Stated by Adams et al., oxygen consumption shows an initial rise and then levels off. Summer and Max's data correlates initially with the normative data. However, Josh's data does not, as there is not an initial increase in his heart rate, but there is a decrease instead. This may be due to experimental method, as Josh did a warm-up and the others did not. Therefore, because of this, Josh's data initially does not match the normative data, as his heart rate increased during the warm-up, but when exercise had started, his heart rate had returned to normal, and this is due to a decrease in the signals being sent down the sympathetic nervous system to the SA node, which then reduces the heart rate. In addition to this, I stated in my hypothesis, and according to normative data, that during steady-state exercise, the heart rate will plateau after 3 minutes and keep at a constant rate for the remainder of the exercise. Looking at the graph, at 4 to 18 minutes, Sonner's data is in line with this normative data. Physiologically, this is due to the demand of oxygen being met within the body, which is seen by the graph as there is minimal increase in the heart rate. So therefore, the cardiac output is supplying enough oxygenated blood to the working muscles so that they can contract continuously. This also may be due to the vascular shunting as well, because the oxygenated blood is being directed to the muscles that need oxygen instead of the organs that don't need oxygen during exercise. However, in contrast, Josh's data relating to his heart rate shows that he doesn't meet steady-state exercise, as his heart rate continues to rise throughout exercise, as this is due to the previous experimental method. In connection to this, Max's results don't begin to plateau until 11 minutes of exercise, so this does not correlate with the normative data. And if you look at Max's RPE, he feels that he is working considerably hard, with the RPE being over 15. So this is another factor, as well as his heart rate, that shows that he could not be working aerobically at 60 to 70% of his maximum heart rate. And this may be due to experimental method. Because of this experimental method, then it does not give accurate results when relating the data to steady-state exercise. We suggested that the breathing rate will initially increase at the start of exercise, but at the minutes of 3 to 18, the breathing rate and depth will plateau. We collected the data by counting the breaths of the participant for a minute every 2 minutes of the test. Josh's and Summer's breathing rate initially correlates with the normative data, as shown on the graph, because their breathing rate increases at the start of exercise. Josh's increases from 26 breaths to 35 breaths, and Summer's from 25 breaths to 29 breaths. This is at 2 to 4 minutes of exercise. This happens by the receptors detecting the changes, such as an increase of CO2 levels and muscular movement, which causes impulses to get sent to the RCC and then to the inspiratory center via the VRG, because the VRG contains obviously both inspiratory neurons and expiratory, which enables the body to recruit extra muscles to contract to gather more air as the demand for oxygen is high. Summer and Josh's data from the 5-minute point onwards is in line with the normative data, as breathing rate has plateaued. So it is also in line with my hypothesis, as my hypothesis is based on normative data. Physiologically, this is due to the demand of oxygen for the working muscles being met. However, in contrast, Max's data shows that his breathing rate starts at 40 breaths at 2 minutes into exercise, which is significantly much more than the other participants, and his breathing rate does not plateau until about 14 minutes of exercise, which does not correlate with the normative data. But the reason for this is to do with the previous experimental method, to do with his heart rate, because the people around him were telling him to work harder, as the equipment for recording his heart rate was broken and gave inaccurate results. Therefore, it meant his breathing rate increased to compensate for the increase in his heart rate, so that his intake of air is increased so that more oxygen can get to his working muscles so that they can work. So like I said before, due to this experimental method, the data recorded from Max for his breathing rate does not reflect steady-state exercise. Referring to my hypothesis, during steady-state exercise, there shouldn't be lactate present in the body. And we measured this by using a lactate monitor and then O2 saturation. As Hartman et al. States, in steady-state exercise, the lactate concentration will not increase by more than 0.5 to 1 mole when continuing this exercise at the same constant speed, so intensity. The reason why lactate should not be present during steady-state exercise is because oxygen is present. Therefore, the participants should be using the aerobic energy system. So linking these findings to the results that I collected regarding the participants' lactate, then from pre to 10 minutes, Summer and Max have not reached steady-state exercise because their results are not in line with normative data. This could be due to their heart rate being so high, as it shows that they are working anaerobically because they are working according to their heart rate results at 80 to 90% of their maximum heart rate. So therefore will consequently produce lactate because they are using their anaerobic energy system. So Summer and Max's results do not show that they are working at steady state as shown by their lactate results. However, Josh's results are in line with normative data according to his lactate, so suggests that he is using his aerobic energy system, but there is no lactate present during the duration of the exercise for him. But his heart rate doesn't match this statement, as it is extremely high throughout exercise and doesn't plateau. So due to experimental method, this makes Josh's results unreliable, and we would need to do the experiment again to get accurate results to prove that my hypothesis is correct. My hypothesis regarding the cardiovascular system states that the start of exercise heart rate will initially increase in comparison to rest. However, it will plateau at 3 minutes into exercise. I concluded that my hypothesis was wrong, as the results I collected for all of the participants regarding their heart rate does not follow my hypothesis. I predicted in regards to the respiratory system that breathing rate will initially increase at the start of exercise, but at the minutes of 3 to 18, the breathing rate and depth will plateau. Following the results we recorded from the participants, I don't accept my hypothesis, as the results do not match my hypothesis. Also, I do not accept my hypothesis regarding the energy system for all of the participants, as it stated that during steady-state exercise there shouldn't be lactate present in the body. But from my results that I've collected, it shows that lactate levels increase throughout the duration of the exercise. 2.2.